Hello and welcome back to another early adopter edition. And today we're going to talk about working sets. So get ready. This is probably the most exciting topic to me because I use it every day. I swear by it. This helps me pick up where I left off across many different projects. So as soon as I get into a project, different company, different perspectives, views, and viewpoints, I need to hit the ground running. So working sets and even shortcuts, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, are very important to your productivity in modeling. So let's hit the ground running. We're going to use our project we've been doing My Firsts in for Sparx. And let's say you're learning various topics. I'm going to launch the class diagram, the starter use case we did a video on, requirements, a few things in there, sequence diagrams, interaction diagrams, which are sequence diagrams of communication. So we just have these 5 that are up. We're going along learning and we have to move on to something else. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the cover page and go, you know what? I need to create a working set that I can pick up when I'm leaving off and coming back. So if we go all the way down here at the bottom, you could certainly close on the dynamic views. You'll see something called working set. And we're going to select it. I'm just going to drop it somewhere. Let's just drop it right here. And let's give it a name, learning. And then, maybe week 1 or a date or something that's meaning for you. All right. And what we're going to do next is we're going to just double click it, because the first time that you start one, if you double click it, you get this dialog box here that allows you to select everything that you want to be in the working set. We're going to hit include all on this. And I probably don't need the cover page, so I'm going to check that one off, because this is going to load automatically and this working set's going to be on the cover page. And we're going to hit OK. All right. So we're returning back to doing this work, this learning, and we have our working set right here. We're going to go ahead and double click that to launch it. And it is launching all of the diagrams, the models that we want to start focusing on, right? Now you could come into the working set, and if you right click on it, edit working set, you can make changes to what you want to load the next time you come in. Let's say I don't need the requirements. I'm done with that part. And I don't need the class diagram. I'm done with that part, right? So we're going to hit OK. And let's close everything except for the cover page and launch this again. There we go. Just 3 is all we had. And those other ones are not showing there. And you can certainly bring them back. But let's say that we're continuing our learning. We're working on communication diagrams. We're going to launch this one, right? And then we're going to close the session for a lunch break or something else. We're going to right click on this, edit working set. You can see things that are unchecked are not in the working set. We want communication. All right. And so we're going to check that one. Then we're going to hit OK. We're going to close everything again. All right, we're coming back. We're going to launch it. And now you can see my communication diagram is in our working set for what we want to focus on in this session. Next, let's say you want to change the order in which the diagrams are loaded into the tabs. So we're going to right click on here. We're going to edit working set. I did that too fast. I was on the wrong thing. We're going to edit working set, right? And we want the communication diagram to be the first thing that loads. So we're going to promote it up before the use cases right here, this tab right here, right? So we're going to hit OK. We're going to close everything and we're going to test. All right. So we're returning back. We're going to launching our working set. And you can see now that communication diagram is loading in this order before the use case, model, sequence, and interaction. Next, let's flip over to a real working project with quite a few stakeholders, all right? And in this particular case, the project manager created a package or namespace specifically for working sets. And in this case, she has taken the solution architect's working set from their namespace, the design architect's working set from their namespace, and then the project manager has their own working set, all right? And use any conventions you want. Sometimes we'll put the week of the project. You may be in a release train that goes 8 to 10 weeks, and now we're in week 3, and this is a snapshot of what the solution architect is working on. You might use a date and so on, different formats, right? So in this case, we're looking at the solution architects and working set, and we're going to go into it. And these are the things that the solution architect is focused on at this point. And then you can continue with your collaboration, and others can come in and launch the working set and start to focus on that particular progress within the project. Now, I like what the project manager did here, but you don't need to do this. If you go into the Start tab, you go to Design in the All Windows panel, you'll see a choice for under Explore category for Focus. And when we go to Focus, there are multiple tabs here that you can focus on. One of them is Working Sets. And here we have the working sets that have been built in this project. And so if we want to see what the current solution working set is, or the design working set, let's look at that one. You can expand it, and these are the diagrams. And you can go to one diagram at a time if you wanted to, or you can right-click on the folder and open working set. And this opens the working set to let you know what the design architect is working on, right? So I really like this idea here because these are constantly changing, and there could be week 1 working set, week 2, there could be different months or even days, and therefore focus might get a little bit crowded in here. So this just says, hey, this is current events. This is what today we're currently focusing on. So either approach works fine when you want to get to working sets. The simplest way is if you have your cover page set up this way, you can see solution approaches here. And if you go into it, we see in this particular diagram that the solution architect has their working set here. So we can either double click this or the navigation cell, and we can launch the working set right from the solution architect's namespace or folder. So there are multiple ways to getting to working sets. And I just want to make sure that you find the one that's most productive for you, but whether it's a small project or an extremely large enterprise project, that's most productive to you and your stakeholders. So let's pretend for a moment that we are a tester working on this large project, and we have quite the session going on. We have our own cover page. We're doing requirements analysis, writing test cases and planning around that. We have a lot of models that are open. I mean, a lot, right? And we want to quickly get back to the main page. There we go. And we want to create a working set, right? So if you recall, you go to Start. If you don't already have it loaded, you go to Design, you go to Focus, and you get this focus window here. And what we want to do is we're going to right click in here, and we're going to create a working set, right? And we don't need the main page that loads for us. We want this page. We want requirements. We want detailed design assets. We're looking at the database. We're looking at API and models, just these right here. And again, we can promote and demote them. And then what I want to do is give this a name. We're just going to call it test planning. And then just, week 3 or a date or whatever your convention is. So now I have a working set here for this particular stakeholder that's accumulating in here. So let's close everything except. right? And we're coming back into the project, picking up, or others are focused on what you're doing, maybe the project manager and developers. We're going to open the working set. And now it's bringing up everything that we want to pick up on or show that we're focusing on during our particular exercise. So you've learned what working sets are, but what are shortcuts? Shortcuts have been around quite a long time as well. So we have all of the diagrams that we want to send out for collaboration reasons or to us to work on offline, however, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the Sparx icon up here, upper left, and you see something called Save as Shortcut. So I'm going to select that. I get this dialog box. It has all of the diagrams pre-selected, and I'm going to go ahead and leave all of them. Again, I can promote and demote items in order to be loaded, but we're going to go out to our source where we keep our shortcuts and hit yes and save it and make sure you hit OK. And now we have a shortcut that we can use, email, put into documentation for quick access and to pick up where you left off. All right, so we're in our folder where we saved our shortcut. Let's look at this shortcut. We're going to right click on it. We're going to open with, and let's just use Notepad. So you can see here, this is where it's saved. The first diagram to load, here's the global unique ID for it. And then in order, each one of the diagrams, when it's launching Sparx, goes into the Sparx database, finds these models and loads them in this order. Let's go ahead and close everything, close all diagrams. And then what we're going to do is go to that folder and launch this shortcut. Now it's going to launch in a new Sparx project. So I still have this project up and it's going to launch a new version or instance of the Sparx tooling. So once that instance loads, you can see we're at our cover page and in the order in which the shortcut was set to, right? So this becomes a powerful feature or tool that you can use to send shortcuts, to email shortcuts to stakeholders that are in your project to help them pick up where you left off in a conversation, whether it was just following a conference call. Someone might ask, hey, can you send me the models that we just reviewed? Boom, here you go. Launch this shortcut. Now, this working set element might be kind of boring and you want to give it a unique look and feel. So you can right click on this. You can go to Appearance, select Alternate Image, and you could use your company logo, your project logo, or your favorite team, and you could create an image for working set. So when someone comes in, they can launch it and it launches the working set. So that's just an interesting thing to do when you have a working set folder like we saw from the project manager. This one right here, let's go back over to their working sets. Let's close everything but this folder. And you can apply, close all except working sets. You can apply images to this to achieve any look and feel that you want on your cover pages, which then will appear if you publish to the web or if you're in Sparx Collaborate to allow people to very quickly get to particular conversations. All right. So just a little fun with Sparx as we're working with working sets. All right. We're going to wrap up here. I hope that I've proven how beneficial working sets are to yourself and your stakeholders' productivity, maintaining your momentum as you're delivering, whether you're talking about a large enterprise projects and being able to get to complicated or simple models, or you're doing research and development, or whether you're doing your own personal learning, being able to pick up on topics. One of the fun things that I use working sets for is on Sparx EA example project. There's a lot of fun exercises in here to help you increase. Like for instance, the last one that we spoke about in a previous video was simulation. So being able to very quickly navigate and get to those subjects. Or let's go ahead and close this one, all except my favorites. Speaking of simulations, these are models that I use quite a bit during teaching exercises and shortening the learning curve for modelers that are coming into Sparx Enterprise Architect. Sparx gives you a great deal of tools to use to help you advance your own capabilities. So how are you using working sets? Did you even know that they existed? Are you using shortcuts? What kind of problems do you have in maintaining your momentum in delivering your projects or your efforts, your research and development, your own learning? Please let us know down in comments below. We'll continue to push subjects that help us advance in modeling, computer-aided software engineering. So thanks again for watching. Please leave a like down below if this content is meaningful to you. Otherwise, until this next episode coming up, happy modeling.